Yes, the first beauty industry intel episode. So I'm excited.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so I guess let's start by can you introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about what you do, how you got started?
Okay. Well, my name is Lee. I have been a stylist for 40 years. I hate
Wow.
to admit that. I know. And I actually started out as a commission stylist and then moved on to being a booth runner when booth rental was not even a thing. I mean, you're talking
Yeah.
like 28 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was always more like the entrepreneurial type of person. I was a go-getter, I was a hustler at work, and that was my next step. And then after being there about 10 years, the stylist who owned it wanted me to buy them out. I have
Mm,
a love of real estate. I've had, five, six houses. I've built two of my own. I was a general contractor. And then when I purchased my building, which is my salon now, I renovated it, which is a historical building built in the 1800s.
that's
I
so
never
cool.
I never purchased it for a salon. I purchased it for a real estate investment. So then the owners had approached me to buy them out. And I knew at that point it wasn't going to work because we had week to week leases. Now, this is 28 years
Oh
ago.
wow.
So
Yeah.
I knew because, and the reason I know this is because my family, they are builders and they are their own leasing agents. So I knew week to week leases, if I was to buy them out of their business, that everybody could leave me next week.
Right.
Now, I don't think they knew that, but I knew that. And I didn't want to get stuck paying a rent of 2,500 plus utilities and then having no renters there.
Right.
And that was a lot of money 28 years ago. So,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
is.
so I had my building and decided to renovate it so I would never have to move again because I went out looking for booth rental salons and nobody was booth renting. So I would have been forced to get a brick and mortar building. And I already owned a building. So I thought if I'm going to invest any money into anybody's building, I'm going to invest it into my own.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. And that's pretty much how it all started. I didn't open up as a booth rental salon, though. I started out as a
Oh,
commission salon. A lot of,
okay. That was going to be my next question.
Mhm.
So you were able to start with those stylists that were there already, or did you
No,
have to
actually,
find?
no. So what happened was because I was a booth renter, I knew they were not my bosses. So I took them aside and I said, listen, I have a building. I know you guys want to retire. Unfortunately, it doesn't make sense for me to buy this building. So I want to go into my own building. It's going to take about a year and a half to do the zoning and the reconstruction, the construction. Are you okay if I still stayed here? I would love to stay here. I won't talk about my business. I won't recruit anybody. I understand you're in business too. And I approached them like that because I really did understand it in a way that I wasn't out to mess with them or hurt them because we all had this relationship. We had this culture that was so great. And they were like, Lee, you stay as long as you want. Don't worry about it. And so, so when I went on to open, I didn't have anybody, but because I knew so many people in the business, I was just running my mouth a mile a minute. And by the time I did open, I had 15 stylists.
Wow.
Yeah. So they were all commission. And I ended up sick that year
Oh, wow.
and out of work and in the hospital.
Oh
And
my
it
gosh.
was only about 6 months in. I was out of work 6 months too. So I knew
Yeah.
it was very scary because when you have commission stylists, you really need to lead and mentor.
Right.
And I wasn't there to do it. I had the help of
Right.
my family, but they weren't in the hair business. You know, they
Yeah.
they couldn't, lead and mentor. So I didn't think much of it then. And then I went for my 6 month checkup for my surgery and I ended up having another issue and I had to have another surgery.
Oh my gosh.
And this
That's
time
so
I
scary.
get really sick and I almost die and I'm out of work again for like 8 months.
Oh my God. So what did you do in that time with the
Well,
salon?
my family stepped in again, helped me, And I came back from that surgery and I said to them, listen, I really kind of begged and pleaded. I said, listen, you guys, I know you don't know anything about booth rental, but that's what I did for 10 years. I'm going to teach you. I had all of their numbers in the computer, so I knew what they were going to make. I said, I will teach you. I will show you. You will make more money. I promise you. Trust me. And I think because I'm such a straight shooter, they really knew who I was. I wasn't trying to be something else. And I think they really did trust me. And they must
Awesome.
have because they did it and they stayed with me really up until COVID. So for
Wow.
13, 14 years, I had everybody.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of it. And
So then during that time that you were sick, is that when you switched over? When did you
right
switch over to
after the second
rental?
time I was sick,
Okay.
I opened in 2008. And that year I got sick. I think my first surgery was August. I was out of work again. Went for my 6 month checkup like in February, March. Found out I needed surgery again. So it was like that fall, I was out again.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
it was scary. And that's why I do preach so much about having the right insurances and being prepared
Right.
for a rainy day. I was 40 years old. I was healthy. I worked out. I thought I ate great. But you have these crazy things that happen to you that can happen at
Yeah.
any moment.
You just never know.
Exactly.
You always got to be prepared.
Exactly. That's my
So
plan.
then, what would you say were some of the biggest challenges when switching models? Or like what do you feel like you wish you would have known then, like what you know now?
I'm
Did
going
I
to
say
be
that right?
honest with you. Well, no, I'll be honest with you. I went into it very confidently because I did it for 10 years and I knew what their numbers were, that they were going to do better for themselves. So I wasn't afraid of that. I was so confident in it. The only thing I would say when you asked me this question, what would I have done differently?
Mm-hmm.
I would have understood my leases better. I
Mm,
had leases, but I didn't really know them. I was like, oh, we got a lease.
yeah.
Because that really was, I had a stylist in there that was temporary. And she had signed a lease and it ended where she ended up leaving, but I didn't really go back to my lease. I didn't follow what the lease said because of
Gotcha.
what I wanted the salon to be. And that's another reason why I really teach that because it is once you understand your lease, you understand your business and what you want from it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what's like one thing that you put into the lease afterwards? Like what is a must have in a lease?
Well, I changed my lease several times throughout the years, and I still tell stylists today, you need to go through your lease at least once or twice a year because things are going to be changing. First of all, it's not hours of operations whenever you want. At my salon, it's 7 in the morning till 9 at night.
Hmm.
I don't want people there at midnight. I own
Right.
the building. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm being more controlling. It doesn't really matter. It's my building, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
I needed time to clean and do classes, so I made it where you couldn't be there on Sundays. So having hours of operations is crucial because so many stylists do say to me, God, they're there at 2 in the morning, or they come at this time, or they want Sundays. I'm like, well, what's in the lease? Well, I don't have anything in the lease. So you have to know that part of it, what the
Yeah.
rent is going to be every week or every month. I do encourage weekly rental because you get an extra 2 weeks out of the year, and you could use that
Hmm.
money to really give more perks to your stylists.
Right.
So I encourage that. And it's the lease really having that, what the rent payment's going to be. If you have late payments in there, what happens if they don't pay? How is their station supposed to be left? What are their duties as far as keeping their station clean? The whole salon
Right.
could be pristine, but they could have a pigsty right next to you.
Right. Yeah.
So those are the
Um,
real crucial facts to it.
yeah, that kind of brings me to like salon culture.
Oh yeah.
So how would you say you create a positive culture in a booth rental salon as opposed to commission, since everyone is kind of independent and doing their own thing.
I think the culture really comes from the confidence of the owner. And what I mean by that is when a stylist comes in, usually what I have experienced is the owner is so eager to get a renter that they'll would just, I don't want to say the word settle, but they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay, you can have that station. Oh yeah. Oh, no problem. And they kind of accommodate
Yeah,
instead of really bringing in the renter and saying, hey, so tell me about yourself. How long have you been doing hair? Oh, I've been doing hair 10 years. Do you promote yourself? How do you get clients? And I tell them the only reason I'm asking is because I'm not here all the time. And I want to know that you are able to communicate with clients if there's a situation that you're unsure of. How would you handle that?
right,
And I want to know that they're confident. And I show them around and I let them know, listen, everything is done here for you. But when you are working and if you see the coffee is down, you need to put the coffee pods in there.
right,
Customers using them. If you see the toilet paper down, fill it up. But I'm here. I have a cleaning person. It gets done all the time. But there might be a time you might have to. Are you willing to do that? Like, I really don't pull any punches. I let them know this is what I expect because being clean in the salon is very important to me. The reputation that I've had for being a stylist for 40 years, my clients pay my bills. And
yeah,
the salon is your now home. So I
right,
really approach it in a way like I want to get to know you and I want you to meet all the stylists. Come around, ask questions. If you're really unsure, come by every day for a couple of days. Just sit around, have coffee. You could
right,
see the culture yourself.
right.
I
Makes
encourage that.
sense. Yeah. So what would you say too with marketing now that everything is Instagram and social media now?
Right.
And most stylists book through their own systems. Do you recommend having a front desk like receptionist still? Or
Um,
do you think that the owner should also contribute to marketing for the salon as a whole, or everyone should be doing it individually?
well, that really depends on the type of salon that you want for yourself. So, like, you could definitely have a receptionist. A lot of booth rental salons want that, I don't want to say vision, culture. They want that aesthetic for when that client walks in, it looks like a full-blown salon. You got the desk, you got the computer, you have the checkout. That's fine. That costs money. So now you have
Yeah,
to put that onto your renters. And that's fine also. And that's where it comes down is your rent at 10%. Now you could start affording things. If your rent's at 20%, you got to cut back on things. Most
right.
rental salons, they don't have a desk. They might have a little podium or something so you look professional. But, having somebody, usually the stylists who have the salons that do have a front desk is because the salon owner is so booked behind the chair. She's too busy to do stuff around the salon. So they have the assistant or the someone at the front desk. And that's great too. It's really what you want and what you can afford.
Makes sense.
There's no wrong or right.
Yeah. So then I guess that kind of covers my next question, which was going to be, do you think that the owner should be giving mentorship or guidance, or everyone's just kind of fully on their own?
Well, that depends on who you bring in. If you bring in stylists who are very seasoned, like if I was to go somewhere, I would tell the owner straight out, listen, I know what I'm doing. You don't have to babysit me. What do you
Yeah,
want from me? And
right.
they might say, listen, I just want my place to be clean. I want the reputation. I want to know that you can handle problem solving. Great. We're a great fit because I do all of
Yeah, right.
if you're a newer stylist and you do need mentorship, you might have to change your directory as a salon, as a booth rental salon, because there
Yeah,
is definitely a gap in the industry right now.
yeah,
We have very seasoned stylists, the ones who are Seasoned, they have opened up their own salons, and now you have the newer stylists who do not have the proper skill set. Not to say proper, the more advanced skill set. They're learning. They're not
Right.
really confident um, as much as someone who was already doing it for 15 years.
Right.
Your problem solving skills are a little bit, not up to par because they really haven't had a lot of problems, or they haven't experienced, or they have experienced it and they're scared now, and now they're afraid to do anybody because they don't want to mess anybody up.
Yeah.
So you might have to start doing some type of mentorship, but there's a fine line when that's part of booth rental because
Right.
you get into misclassification. So
Right.
there's like all these little fine lines and
Yeah,
little layers of things that matter, but definitely as an owner, you have to really determine what type of stylist you're bringing in.
that makes sense. So for stylists that are thinking of becoming independent,
Mhm.
how will they know if they're ready and if that's the right step for them?
The stylist who's usually ready for booth rental, they're 85% booked at least, if not more. They understand their money. They have some
Mhm.
savings. They're a leader. They're a go-getter. They're when they're at work, they're handling everything already by themselves.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a commission stylist, I was checking my people out. I was doing the towels. I got there 20 minutes early, half hour early, made sure my coffee was there, the sugar was in the bowl because I wanted it nice for my client,
Yeah.
even though I was at a commission salon.
Yeah.
So, you know, all booth runners or commission, you can't look at it always as a salon. You have to look at it like these are your clients, these are your guests that are paying your bills. So, no matter if you are a commission stylist, a booth rental stylist, or a salon owner, the main focus is to accommodate that client. So, if it means you coming in a half hour early to make sure that the coffee, the sugar, everything is the way you like it, so your client gets that uh, full service, luxury, all attention on them experience,
Right.
that's what does it. So
Gotcha.
that's where I feel the stylists sometimes, those are the ones that are ready. They're already doing that because
Yeah.
they know what their client brings to them, and it's
Right.
bringing them their career, it's bringing them their future, their income, it's bringing them everything.
Yeah. What would you say for a stylist that has that mindset already, but they need help with their numbers? Like, what is the biggest thing financially that they should know?
Well, if they're having problems with their numbers, do you mean by saving money or do you mean by not understanding how their numbers
Yeah, well, because I think a lot of stylists, when you make the jump from commission
mm,
to independent, you're not used to buying all
keeping
of
it
your own
organized?
products
Mhm.
or just the overhead, I guess.
Right. So what I normally tell stylists is when you are a commission stylist, you need to always, if you want to be a booth renter, the first thing you need to do is understand your numbers, which is what is your retention? Are you weighing and measuring your color? So of waste, and really understand who your client is. Are you a vivid specialist? Are you a blending specialist? Get with companies who are going to promote you. So many people just run to the store and pick up anything, and then they end up with, they went in for $40 worth of things and end up with $200. They
Right.
have a mismatch of everything at their place. And that's when the systems are sketchy because you're all over the place. If you
Gotcha.
work with a brand that has things more simplified, as a booth runner, I do always suggest not getting into companies that have like 9,000 bottles of color, unless you
Yeah.
know color very, very well and you understand how to do your inventory, which you don't have to carry every number. You can carry, 2, 4, 6, 8, and make your own five, make your own seven.
Hmm.
If you understand your gold, your green, your red, you can make and mix your color. You don't
Right.
necessarily have to bring in a lot of tubes of color. It's really you knowing your background, your theory of the color, your expenses, and then it's just about putting it all in place.
Hmm.
Meaning, what are you going to spend? How much do you bring in every week? If I bring in 2,000 a week, 5,000 a week, start keeping track of how many colors you did, how many extensions you did, what would that have cost you? You got to do like a little trial run while you're a commission stylist to understand what you will be getting into.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, like a trial run. But you're doing
Yeah.
it, like on the side, trying to figure it out. And my whole life I did that. Every single day I would go home and even though it's computerized, I would say I did 3 colors, I did 2 texture waves, I did a row of extensions, whatever. And
Yeah.
I would say who paid check, who paid credit card, who gave me cash. I knew exactly every step. By the end of the week, I knew I had 20 color services, 10 texture, whatever. I
Mm,
know what my numbers were. And
right.
that's the first stepping stone to keeping track for your taxes,
Right.
because that is the number one problem so many
That
stylists
is the
have.
a big change when you
Yeah.
make that jump.
Yes, and I have a lot of nice little ways to do things where it's not overwhelming because I did it and it worked for me. And even though I have a booking system, I still went home and tracked every week.
Yeah.
I am 60 years old.
Yeah. That is definitely important
Oh, without a
just to
doubt.
be on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
So do you think that booth renters have more financial freedom? Because I feel like there's this big, I don't want to say misconception, but a lot of commission stylists feel that if they make the jump to be independent, they're going to be making a lot more money, but they don't realize there's so much more overhead.
Well, a lot of there's 2 ways of looking at it. When I started out as a booth renter, I was loving it so much and I was so hungry and my hours, I started out like 12 to 6, and then I went 11:30 to 6:30, and then I went from 11 to 7. And
Hmm.
I worked several days. If you look, I just actually shredded my books from 25 years ago. There was 3, 4 days I was 12-hour shifts, no lunch, no anything, one
My
after the
gosh.
other, after the other, after the other. And I grew up in that hustle from the 80s. You were trained to do a lot of people.
Right.
So it actually made me more like into it. I thrived in it. Um, a lot of stylists now, it is more of a balance, a work-life balance. And
Hmm.
because of extensions being so um, popular in a sense, so in demand, you don't have to work all week long. You can do a few extension specialists, specialties, but
Hmm.
if you do not have cancellations down pat, if you don't really know your client down pat, one cancellation can really mess up your whole week.
Right.
So there's that to consider too.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a lot of stylists deal with slow seasons or slow weeks, and I think
That's
that's
because
really
they don't work
scary.
at it. They don't work at it.
Yeah.
Working at it means, and I'm not downing anybody, but I've seen it for so many years. During Christmas, I'm going to give you an example.
Hmm.
In October, end of October after Halloween, I would start giving every single one of my clients a little candy cane with a little card with a ribbon saying 15% off January through March 1st. They were
Hmm.
forced to come in. I give them 20% off, 15% off, every single client. I did that for years and years and years until I was so booked that
Yeah.
I didn't have to give them out because I couldn't get people in. I was never
Right.
slow. When I had a new client, I reached out to them 2 days later. I would put a little note in my calendar, reach out to Susie. Hey, Susie, how was your color? How'd you like that haircut?
Hmm.
I wanted Susie to know that I cared about her. I was thinking about her. And that is what we are missing in today's
Yeah.
stylists. No fault of theirs. They just, the world we're living in is so different with technology.
Right. I
And they
do
had
feel
to
like
be
we're
taught.
missing that. Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt, we're missing it. But that's the hustle that keeps people busy. When you're not busy, it's because you're not doing all those things.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely is a game changer.
Yeah, I like that. So what would you say, how do you build confidence when you make that jump to independent? Or if you're opening a booth rental salon model, like how do you build confidence in that new role?
Confidence really comes from doing it.
Yeah.
So if you're a stylist and you're already 85, 90% booked, you understand your numbers, you have money saved, you already know what color line you're going with, you already know what products you're going to carry. You're excited. The only scary thing might be the new atmosphere and meeting new people and really becoming friends with everybody because that's the scariest part. Once
Yeah.
you do your first day, you're like, whew, I did it. I'm good. I know where everything's at. You come down a notch.
Yeah.
I always tell stylists too, before they go into booth rental, don't book themselves so crazy if they
Hmm.
know they're going to be there May 1st. Just do two people that day and just to get the feel of the salon and where everything's at and the flow and how you
Right.
like to work. You could chit chat, make them feel comfortable. So many stylists are afraid to make a jump thinking their clients will not follow them, but that is actually false. What happens
Mm.
is if you are 85% booked and you are honed in on your skill set, your communication, and your problem solving as a commission stylist, they will automatically follow you because they want to be nosy where you're at.
Yeah.
They want to know where you're at, what you're doing, and what made you make the change. It's going to be that first impression, them coming in there. They already know you're a great stylist. They already know you know what to do with their hair. They're not leaving you. It's where you're going and what that presence is that really seals the deal in another half. Does it make them leave you? No, not at all. If you're that great and they want you, they're not leaving you.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is there anything else you think we should cover that we haven't covered yet? That's
Um,
like,
and I just rattle it all off. Sorry.
no.
I just think, the stylist really comes down to honing in on the skill set. If you're worried about highlights or placement, do more of them. Bring in models, do a model call. Yes, you'll have to, you know, listen, do you know my career has only been color and cutting for the last 20 years.
Oh,
I do
really?
no other service. I used to do everything. Blowouts, weddings, braid, I did everything.
Yeah.
When I got injured, I could not do everything. And I knew the only way to still make money was for me to force the client to get two or three services in one bundle. And I created the bundle services 20 years ago. I started that
Oh.
because I have these bone spurs right here. I had a lot of shoulder problems. So I
Yeah.
couldn't do a lot of people. So when I started bundling services, now it's not just a $50 haircut at that time. So let me give you an example. If a
Mhm.
haircut was 50 and a little partial highlight was 50 and the retouch was 50, and this is going back 20 years ago, that's 150. I would tell them, listen, I only do bundle services. It's going to be $125. They get $25 off, but I am guaranteed 125 for every client,
Right.
not 50. Not
Right.
here, not that. So 20 years ago, to have three people at $125, one, two, that's three, $400 a day. Um, it worked for me. I couldn't work a lot. You know,
Yeah.
you could use bundle services however you want them. A lot of
Hmm.
people do a la carte, but I don't want to be sitting there for $40 and $50 for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could do, and because I double booked, well, I was trained that way. I don't know any other way. You could definitely now those services are not 120 anymore. They're two and $300.
Right.
So now you do three people, you're making either six or $900.
Yeah.
So that's just like having one set of a couple move ups.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
really where you want your career to be.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
practice.
awesome.
That's all. It's just practice. And
Yeah.
put reps in. And if you don't know how to do it, grab models. Even I did models for free. I built my whole color clientele telling all my clients, let me just put two or three highlights in your hair. This
Hmm.
is 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay. Every single one of them would just say, okay, I love that. Do it again. And now they were paying for it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think
So
models are important now too with social media. I mean, you have to have social media. So,
without a doubt, if you don't have it, you are going to struggle.
yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, that's going to be very difficult. And if you don't know it, learn it. You
Yeah,
know, I've had to learn it. And if you love the business, you're going to love learning it
right.
and be
I
around
think that is,
like-minded people.
yeah. I thought there's always something new to learn, which is great.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Nice. All right. So
Yeah.
then I think that kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
I love that.
The best thing, like I said, most important thing I really talk about with my coaching program is skill set, communication, and problem solving. If you can
Yeah.
really master those three as a stylist, you would be the most sought out stylist ever.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's
And
good
retail.
advice.
People want, people are like, oh, you could buy it on Amazon, you could do this, you could do that. If I went to a salon as a client and my stylist didn't have retail, I would be disappointed.
Mm.
I want that experience.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people now don't carry retail anymore because everything's
No,
online.
exactly. That's why I say get in with good companies. Do you have to carry everything? No. But you can still look like you're a professional and show
Right.
products, even if it's not the whole line, just a couple key pieces
Yeah.
that you love. And then
Right.
you could order the rest for them because it does really separate, it builds really great trust. Do you know I have been out of work for a couple months because of some back issues I have, and I am selling retail daily. Everybody's just
Yeah.
coming in for the retail, all my
That's
clients.
awesome.
Yeah. So, it really does make a difference.
Yeah. All those little extra things you can do definitely
Exactly.
add up.
So,
All right.
okay, there
Awesome.
you
So
go.
then, yay. So where can people find you or learn more about you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Lee Marie underscore salon coach.
Hmm.
If you want to research me, I do have a salon, Lee Marie Salon in Richfield, Ohio. I am a real person. I have been a stylist for 40 years. I'm not AI. And my hair, it always is done in the morning, but by now it ends up like that.
It looks great.
It's just, I did have alopecia 5 years ago.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that's what started me wearing my hair off my face a lot. So,
Wow.
yeah, but here it wasn't alopecia. I had leaky gut.
Really?
And I wasn't absorbing any nutrients.
Oh my
That's
God.
a whole nother Zoom call because so
Yeah.
many people don't realize hair loss comes from three things: their nutrition, their stress, and any medication they're taking.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had a lot of clients come in complaining about hair loss. And I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know. There's so
Yeah.
many different things it could be.
Yeah. It's usually one of those three. And you got to dig deep. And I thought I knew a lot about it until, I didn't.
Yeah.
So
It's a whole
yeah,
other thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
Great. Enjoy your night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye.